Hi, I'm Ashley Hammond.
And I'm Locke Hammond.
We're married.
We run a business together.
And we homeschool our 4 kids.
That makes us sound a little crazy.
I think people might think we're a little crazy.
Well, through all that crazy, we're here to help you blaze your own trail through a world designed for conformity.
And break the chains holding you back from living an uncommon life.
This is Trailblazers and Chainbreakers.
Hi, friends.
Hello. I know what we're talking about tonight. I don't even need to ask you. We're talking about my favorite subject, which is how much you love me.
I was going to say, like, food. Are we talking about french fries and cheeseburgers?
No. I do love those. No.
I was a little confused.
We're talking about our story, which we had a very crazy, jam-packed first year of our relationship.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that, I guess.
Yes, we are.
You want to start? You kind of started the story, so maybe it should start with you.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start off by saying when I met him, I was not even close to thinking or wanting a relationship. I had just gotten out of not such a great relationship and was working on bettering myself and getting my life together.
Focused on yourself.
Yeah, very focused on myself. So I arrived at a job fair. And when you go to a job fair, I don't know if you've ever been to a job fair, but you get this you get to shoot a paper.
You learn how to talk when you get to a job fair.
You get this sheet of paper and it tells you like all the people that are there for the job fair, all the employers. And so when I got the piece of paper, I kind of chose the tables that I was going to go at, and I was like, screw the rest of them because like I don't need to waste my time. And so I was making my rounds around the room to the tables that I wanted to see. And then I saw this tall, handsome man, and he was not on my list of tables that I wanted to go see.
It just makes me feel wonderful.
But I walked over to his table, and he was in the middle of speaking to another girl about what job he was offering. And I remember just like looking at him and being like, in my little mind, thinking, yep, this is the man I'm going to marry. And I introduced myself to him, and he introduced himself to me. And then like I got all giddy and ran away. I was with one of my mentors, and I ran to her and I said, my exact words, I said, can you go back to that table? His name is Locke. Can you go back to that table and see if he has a ring on his finger? Because I didn't get the chance to look. And she was like, what? I was like, I just want to know if he has a ring on his finger. Go back and look. And she was like, okay. So then she went back and talked to him and went and looked, and he did not have a ring on his finger. And I was convinced in my little mind that that was the man that I was going to marry.
Well, we're off to a crazy start. That story makes you sound
crazy?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And I know you well enough to say that you're not crazy. But you already kind of said this. I think it's important to say, like, not you were not looking for a relationship.
No.
You were like, could not be further from looking for a relationship at that time. In fact, I remember one of the things when I heard parts of this story for the first time, because I didn't hear this story for quite a while into our relationship. I think you were afraid to tell me because like I would think you were crazy or something. But I remember when I started learning some of the details about this, you didn't think I believed you, so you had to have your mom chime in and convince me. Mm-hmm. But you had told your mom that like you were like sworn off from ever even thinking about getting married. Like you told her, I'm never getting married. Mm-hmm. And then when you left the job fair, you called her.
I called my mom and said, Mom, I met the man I'm going to marry today. And she was like, what?
She thought you had been drinking or something.
She thought I was crazy, but she was the only one that honestly believed me because she knew that I had no intention on ever being married. Like there was no ounce of my body that ever wanted to get married. I wasn't that little girl that dreamed about this fairy tale wedding. Like I honestly
Yeah.
wanted nothing to do with being married. So my mom knew that I was serious. The rest of the people that I told thought I was batshit crazy and was like, yeah, okay, that's never going to happen. Like, you're
Wow.
nuts.
Like I wasn't going to fall in love with you, or like that was just a crazy story.
All of the above.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's your side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the job fair. I have a side of the story. I mean, yeah, I was at the job fair looking to hire an assistant. And the funny thing about that job fair is it was at a hotel literally across the street from my office. So I parked where I always parked every morning and walked over. That's how close it was. And I remember carrying, I think I had a sign and some like packets, some applications and stuff to handle. I had stuff in my hands. I don't know what it was, but I remember having my hands full, walking across the parking lot and getting ready to cross the street. And I stopped in the middle of the parking lot and I was trying to talk myself out of going. And, you know, like normal, we were young.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I think 24,
No.
around there, mid
You're
20s.
26.
Okay. Close enough. I was 2 off. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I was young though.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I don't need to do this. Normal kind of mental head trash, trying to talk myself out of it. And for some reason, it wasn't like a voice inside of me or something, but something was like, no, you got to do it. And obviously I'm kind of glad I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it really, there's a number of times on my side of the story where there was something, whether you believe in God or the universe or just random dumb luck, there was something that kind of reached down and either gave me a push or a smack upside the head. And so I continued over to the job fair. I do remember meeting you. I do remember thinking you were very pretty. You hate when I say cute.
You said cute.
Yeah, I said cute, but you hate that word. It was a compliment. I thought you were very cute. I remember the way your hair was like we don't need to go into those details.
Yeah, we don't need to go into those details.
I do remember, but so you said you were not at all looking for a relationship. I was even less so, I think. I was so much convinced, or not convinced, but so much focused on my career and growing myself, just like you, that I didn't notice how I felt about you for much longer than you. I mean, well, it took you 3 seconds, so I guess much longer than you isn't a whole lot of a measuring stick. I noticed you. I thought you were cute, but I didn't have the same feelings that you had in the beginning. I didn't call anybody and say I just met the chick I was going to marry. But I remember that very well. And I always thought it was cool how I was on my way to turning around when something made me go. So I'm thankful for that.
Do you want me to say the next part?
Yeah, what happened after that?
So I applied to be your assistant.
Not at all caring about the job whatsoever.
I did not have any intention on becoming a real estate agent or even wanting to be a real estate agent assistant. So the job was to be his assistant, but then become a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So that was part of what the job was. The
was the
assistant part was
intention.
just short term. And I had no intention to become any of it. So I applied to the job and it took him forever to get back to me.
So impatient.
I remember emailing so many times.
But that set you apart. You were very persistent.
Yeah.
You were very professional about it, and it wasn't annoying. But I remember you were clearly remember who thinking this chick is really following up quite well, we'll say.
So the moral of the story is I got the job.
Well, hold on a sec, because there's a really cool story about that too. So part of the reason why it took so long is because it was a very busy job fair, and there were a lot of people interested. I got a lot of applications. I'd never done anything like this before, so I'm trying to connect with all of the people who filled out applications and meet with people. And what I did was I called everybody in who was interested to sit down and actually have a conversation with me. And I narrowed it down to 3 people who I thought would be a good choice. Obviously, you were one of them. Now, this is the second time in our story where, in the parking lot, the universe gave me a nice little nudge to get across the street. This one is more of a smack upside the head. And I've got it narrowed down to the 3 final candidates. You were one of them. And the 2 other people, before I could call people in for a second round of interviews, I thought it was really important having a second round of interviews. Before I could call any of you guys in, well, I was trying to schedule them, and one of the other 3 got like a really high level assistant to a really high level CEO job in the local area, like legit, like way better job than what I was offering. And so she's like, thank you for considering me. I'm not even going to come in to meet with you again. I'm taking this job. And I said, good for you. The other one was moving, her boyfriend or husband or something was in one of the services, had gotten reassigned recently after the job fair, and they were moving out of town. And it was like the universe was like, okay, why are you even considering other people? I'm going to idiot proof this situation for you and make sure that you only have one choice, the right choice. And so that was obviously you. Mm-hmm. And that's how you got the job. Mm-hmm. Obviously you deserved it. You were one of those 3, but just in case I was going to be stupid, the universe made sure that those other 2 were out of the running.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them about the business card?
No.
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 Okay.
It's a little much. Anyway, so I got the job, and I worked for him for I think it was about a month. I didn't write when exactly I started working. I know that it was
we have all the dates written out. It was almost exactly a month. It was 2 days short of a month.
Yeah. So I worked for him for about a month. He had no idea that I had this vision of starting a life
evil
with him.
Plans.
And I was very professional. I was not unprofessional. We did flirt, but it was innocent flirting, and he, by the way, flirted with everybody. So
That's my personality. I'm very charming when I want to be.
So it was very professional. We went to a work event, like a training, I think it was. And I had to have somebody watch my son. And so I had a sitter. And we went to a training, and then it got out, or we left really early after.
It was a party at our office.
Yeah, we both didn't want to be there. We were get us out of here. So he left, and I left, and I was like, hey, I have a sitter, so I don't want to go home. And he had just moved into his condo, and so we had been texting each other. Somehow I got him to invite me over to his new condo. I don't know how I did that, but I got him to. And so I went over to his condo, and
which was supposed to be my bachelor pad.
Yes.
The plan was I just bought this condo, a 1-bedroom condo. And that night, part of the reason why I left the party early was because that day I had moved my stuff in and I had not unpacked. And so that night I was leaving a little early. I was trying to get out as early as I could to go unpack so that I could go to bed and, have some stuff unpacked and not wake up to boxes the next morning. So it was one of, almost ironic from the universe, oh, you got this really cool bachelor pad. The night you move in is the night you start spending time with your future wife.
Yeah.
And it was never used as a bachelor pad.
So basically, we hung out that night and never stopped hanging out after. So we hung out that night. I went over to his condo. The next night, I went over again. Then the next night, he came over to my apartment.
Yeah, we were inseparable.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple months before we spent a night.
And then
apart
the next night
without
was,
hanging out.
so it was a Wednesday and Thursday night I went over his house. Friday night he came over mine. And then Saturday we weren't supposed to see each other because he was going over his parents' house for dinner. He ended up texting me like at 8:30 that night asking me if I was still awake and if he could come over. He ended up coming over Saturday. That Saturday was the first night that we kissed. And then the next night I went over his house and he ended up telling me that he was in love with me. And we were talking about getting married in Tahiti. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
Jeez, you move quick.
by the fifth night we were talking about getting married. And
I don't remember that. No, I'm just kidding.
And then shortly after that, I did tell him about how after he told me, and I remembered it too, he looked at me and said, I am absolutely head over heels in love with you. And I was like, what? And it was shortly after he told me that. I was like, well, it's funny that you say that.
This is the part in the movie where you turn out to be a creepy stalker serial killer.
And then I told him, I've been in love with you the whole time since the first second that I met you. And
I don't
he
think
was
I believed you. I think that's why you got your mom to chime in.
Yeah,
because I was like, yeah, whatever. That's what they all say.
And I was like, no, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not lying. I'm not making this stuff up.
Yeah. So I mean,
you want to tell? Do you know the rest of them?
Yeah, that was pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, we have all these dates you made for our first anniversary. You made like a nice print that has all this first year. You know, we'll leave out some of the details in our first year. One detail I don't want to leave out is shortly after we started dating. I'm never going to forget the first time we went hiking because we got lost because I thought you'd been there before, so I never took a picture of the trail map. Mm-hmm. And you basically were ready to eat me. That's how much you loved me.
Yeah, we got really lost, and it was raining. It was hiking, and it was raining, and it was cold.
All that matters is you were going to eat me.
Yeah.
I'm
nothing so else, hungry.
Nothing else matters. All right. That was October. Thanksgiving in November. Thanksgiving was interesting.
Yeah.
You just raised your eyebrows at me. So then December. We both love Christmas.
We love Christmas.
December 15th is the day that I proposed to you. Mm-hmm. So actually, what is that, like 4 months after we met?
Yeah.
Everybody thought we were crazy. A lot of people didn't know we were actually engaged right away either, because you were still working for me.
Yeah, we didn't even tell the office when we started dating. When we started dating, we kept it. We didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. Like,
we were dating for a while, and I don't think we told people until we got engaged at the office.
Yeah. So I proposed to you in front of a Christmas tree. Why are you laughing, honey? Do you know where this story is going? No. This is my story to tell. Don't try and steal my joy. So no huge, elaborate, super romantic proposal. I'm not going to lie. I got down on one knee in front of the Christmas tree, and you're laughing because you had no clue what was going on. I think you had just come back out of the bathroom. I think that's how I got the ring. Hey, stop trying to steal my story. I had gotten the ring out somehow, I think because you were in the bathroom. So I got down on one knee in front of the Christmas tree with the lights on. And you were very confused. So you got down on one knee with me and you said, like, hey, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
I was like, dude, stand up. And then you finally realized what was going on. That's my favorite story.
Yeah. So he was sleeping over, and I was going to brush my teeth in the bathroom. So I said, honey, can you unplug the Christmas tree and turn off the lights? And I came out of the bathroom, and the Christmas tree lights were still on. And he was standing near the tree. So I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you standing near the tree? And he said, come here. And I'm like, what do you want?
You're just so kind.
And then he got on his knees. I was like, are we doing something? We're getting on our knees. Are you showing
Did you
me?
drop something?
Are you showing me something? And then I felt like a fool. I was like, oh,
It's a good story, though.
it is a good story.
All right. So that was December.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Yeah, this is...
So, I mean, let's skip the little details. In June, right? June? Yeah, June we found out we were pregnant,
June, we found out we were pregnant with our baby, our first baby.
which we had been trying for a little while.
Yeah.
August,
August.
early August, we ended up closing on our first house together.
Yes. We closed on our first house.
That was literally 2 weeks before we then got married on the 1-year anniversary
Of the day, we met. Yep.
So we crammed all that in to 1 year.
Yeah.
We met. I hired you. Mm-hmm. We started dating. Mm-hmm. We got engaged, got pregnant, bought a house, and got married
Yes.
all in 1 year.
Yes.
Are we crazy?
We are nuts. People thought we were nuts.
Well, I don't regret any of it, but it was a lot in 1 year.
It was a lot.
It was a good year, though.
It was a good year. And the wedding was perfect because we got married. So I think I know it says on this thing, it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday.
It doesn't matter.
It was in the middle of the week. We didn't invite anybody to our wedding because it was literally the day that we met the year before at the job fair. So it was that was the day that I wanted to get married. And we got married at Town Hall. And it was like a beautiful day. My mom came and my son. And that was all. And I remember I was really sick because I was pregnant with our first child. I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah,
I remember I
really
like
sick.
straightened my hair and put on like this cute little dress. And I remember the lady that was marrying us said something because Locke is 6'4" and I'm 5'1". And she said something to me about like I could have put some heels on or something. And I wanted to kill her. I was like, do you want me to puke on you?
Do you have a box I can stand on?
I was like, screw you, lady. Like, I'm here. I'm getting married. Like, I straightened my damn hair. Like, I don't feel good. I don't want to hear your
Pregnant rage.
nonsense.
Yeah.
But it was a good wedding because
Yeah, and we did that because we wanted it to be on the 1 year anniversary. We knew we didn't have time to plan a wedding. We didn't exclude anybody out of, trying to make anybody feel bad. We just wanted it to be small and quick and done.
Yeah.
And that's not just me, the guy talking. Like, you actually wanted that too.
Yeah, because I had mentioned from the beginning I never wanted to get married in the first place, and the fairy tale wedding to me wasn't anything that I wanted.
Yeah.
It wasn't in my dreams. And while I would like to do it differently when we renew our vows someday, it still would never be big or fancy or...
It would just be somewhere tropical.
It'd be somewhere tropical and...
Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said, you never wanted a fairy tale wedding. It's funny because that's actually one of the words that sometimes it's easy to call the begin. So this is the beginning of our story. Mm-hmm. There's more, and it's not as easy. No. But the beginning is almost fairy tale.
It is like a
the
fairy
idea
tale.
of love at first sight. I thought was bullshit. To be completely
Me
honest
too.
with you, I love you more than anything in the world, and I did when I told you, I did. And I was like, I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in love at first sight. I was like, how is that possible? And obviously I've learned a lot. Like, we are meant to be together. It was almost like a fairy tale. There's no doubt that the term soulmates gets thrown around a lot. Like, we're here, we were meant to be together. We're here to teach each other some really powerful lessons, not all of them fun. almost none of them fun, actually. And that's kind of what the second part of this is going to be about. But the first year of our life together, we had our fights, we had our down moments within that year, but it was kind of like the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
It was, you could say, a fairy tale story. Everybody thinks their love story is the best. And I'm a little biased, but I think we got a pretty good story.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy, pretty cool. But the next part of that story, and we'll do that as a separate episode of the podcast, but the next part, the takeaway I want you to get from the whole story is the next part isn't going to be so pretty. We've had good moments,
Yeah.
but we've been through a lot of struggles, and we're very clearly meant to be together. And even those stories or relationships that are meant to be together require a lot of hard work
Yeah.
and a lot of personal growth and commitment. And it's not as easy as the fairy tale movies make it sound, even if you have a fairy tale type story.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I always think about how much we crammed into that first year. Some of the things we'll talk about after, and we started to uncover some of this in the first year, but this is like the next couple of years. We both brought a lot of our own baggage into this relationship. There were lots of fights, and there was a lot of growth needed from both of us. We came from like two different worlds, and we moved really quick, which was beautiful, but we needed to learn a lot about not each other so much, but the past and the history of each other to be able to continue growing our relationship and making it better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah. I think the one part we forgot to mention too, which was like yes, this is meant to be thing for me, was in the beginning, the first few days where we started hanging out. So we started hanging out on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, which was the fourth day, I had taken my son from my previous relationship over to his condo to meet Locke. Now, granted, my son was a mama's boy. Like, he was attached to my leg. He would not talk to anybody that he didn't know. He would not go near anybody that he didn't know. So we walked in. I was holding him. We walked into Locke's condo, and I'm not even exaggerating, and I exaggerate, but I am not exaggerating. I walked into this man's condo. He'd met him briefly.
I saw him through
from
a
the
car window.
Yeah, but that was the most he had ever met him. And he put his arms out to him for him to hold him. And so Locke looked at me like,
I didn't know what the hell to do.
What do I do?
I had never held a kid that young. I'd never held a baby. I'd never held an infant, he'd just turned 2 at that point.
Yeah.
A month before. I had no clue what the hell to do.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I, like, is it okay to touch him? Is this inappropriate? Like, are you going to call the cops? Like, he wants a hug? I don't know.
And I was like, I don't know either, dude. Like, take him. He wants you to hold him. And so, like, he held him, and, like, my son stayed in his arms for, like, I think the rest of the day. Like,
yeah, he sat on my lap for a while.
And so I felt that it was important to, I can't believe I left that part out, because for me, that was like, I knew that I was in love with him, but I needed my son to also be in love with him. And it was literally love at first sight for him as well.
Well, when you're a single mom, like, it's not a cliche. You see it in movies where people a single parent uses their kid as an excuse not to get into a relationship. Mm-hmm. And obviously I don't think a child should ever be a reason for you to not put yourself out there, to not give a relationship a chance necessarily. But it's obviously very important as a parent, a single parent, to get some sort of indication that you're doing the right thing for your child as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I didn't realize how big a deal that was
It was such a
to
big
you.
deal.
I was just like, I didn't know what the hell to do. I remember thinking that, like, what the F am I supposed to do?
I just thought it was crazy because I'm like, not only did I fall in love with him right
Yeah.
away at first sight, but he also fell in love with him at first sight. And I knew my son, and I knew what he was like around other people, not only other people, but other men. He did not like other men for some reason. And for him to do that, I was like, holy smokes, like, this is crazy. So I just wanted to end on that note.
Fair enough. So part 2
Part 2.
will be, this will be the honeymoon phase.
Yes.
Part 2 will be a little bit more of the, I don't want to say reality, because we never stopped having good moments, but the part of the fairy tale where we come back down to earth a little bit, where we need to start really putting work in and doing a lot of healing for both of us and growth for both of us. And I'll speak for me. I don't know about you. You can agree or disagree, but that was when I really started to understand what a relationship actually was. To be completely honest with you, looking back, I had no clue
Yeah.
what a relationship was. It's like, I've said this to you before. Your high school boyfriend or girlfriend, and you tell them you love them, and you really think you do at the time, but then you go to college and or not go to college, and you get a little bit older, you start dating someone else who you're like, oh no, that wasn't love, this is love. I didn't understand what love was. And you do that 6 or 7 times until you really understand what it actually is.
Yeah.
I'd been in relationships, you'd been in relationships. I didn't understand the give and take, the amount of work, just the commitment to make something like that work. And that's not to say that you are a terrible person or hard to be around or vice versa.
I am.
I think when you're not a terrible person,
be honest.
you can be hard to be around. I think it's true in any relationship, and I think any relationship that feels perfect, you have to be ready for some hard work at some point.
Yeah.
So that will be part 2.
Yep.
A little bit more of the reality of life.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Nope. Yep. Nope.
Nope. Yep. Nope.
1 word answers. Can we do a whole show where you can only give 1 word answers?
I don't think that will work.
You're always shooting down my ideas. All right.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you guys for listening to part 1 of our story. We'll be back to do the second part. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll hope you'll join us for next time.
Thanks, guys. Hi, friends. If you're enjoying the show, would you please leave a quick rating or review on Apple Podcasts for us? Doing this helps more people find the podcast, which means even more people can benefit from the conversations. We really appreciate you and your time, and thanks, as always, for listening.